take your seats. Our program will begin in 10 minutes. Please welcome our 2025 SIGGRAPH Conference Chair, Ginger Alford.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here with the real-time rendering community to see an exciting show tonight. And I want to thank Inigo Quiles for allowing me a few minutes of your time while you're gathering in preparation for the real-time live show, because I want to honor someone who's extremely important to our real-time community, Natalia Tatarczyk. We all know Natalia, of course. She has an impressive career. She's currently the Chief Technology Officer at Activision Publishing, where she leads the technology strategy and execution across major Activision franchises, including Call of Duty. She has been advancing state-of-the-art in rendering, graphics, performance, and tool development for film and games at scale in such impressive roles as Distinguished Technical Fellow and Chief Architect, Vice President of Weta Tools at Unity. She's been at Bungie. She's been Vice President of AMD's Graphics Products Group. It's impressive. SIGGRAPH has been extraordinarily fortunate that she has been allowing us to learn the best and world-class techniques by bringing us these advances that have driven industry forward to SIGGRAPH attendees for 20 years. Yeah. The advances in real-time rendering course, it draws hundreds of attendees every year. It receives top reviews. It exemplifies the excellence you'll find here at SIGGRAPH. So I am so happy Natalia is indulging me and allowing to celebrate her this moment. So please join the stage and let's really give a round of applause for this award. Have a wonderful show tonight. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Please take your seats. Our program is about to begin. Please take a moment to silence all mobile devices at this time. Please take your seats. Our program is about to begin. Please take a moment to silence all mobile devices at this time. And now, the session we've all been waiting for,
Please welcome the 2025 SIGGRAPH Real-Time Live Chair, Inigo Quiles.
Hello, SIGGRAPH! Welcome to Real-Time Live 2025. We are at the SIGGRAPH conference, hosted in the beautiful city of Vancouver, and streaming live to the world in YouTube and Twitch. So Real-Time Live is my favorite program at SIGGRAPH. So let me tell you what's going to happen in the next 90 minutes, so you see why I feel that way. So first of all, we have a room, huge room, packed with people. We have around 2,000 to 3,000 people. So actually, can everyone cheer and clap so people at home can hear you? Awesome. Second, we have a stage. And on this stage, sorry, I have a clicker as well. We will have 12 teams coming from all over the world to show us 12 real-time demos related to technologies spanning different industries, from animation to gaming and a few others. Now, the most important part here is that, as the name of the program indicates, not only these demos are real-time, in that they take data or process the data or create graphics in real time, but in that the demo demo itself is happening live. Sorry, I have some notes here. So what this means is that, as you are seeing things happening in the screen, the presenters themselves are operating, controlling, and puppeteering everything that you are going to see. And this, my friends, is not an easy task. So let me show you actually something. Let me show you what the presenters will be seeing. Do we have the camera operator here? Can you show everyone what the presenters will be seeing? This huge room. So this is what they see. So you can imagine that they have to, speak their talking points while they are seeing this very intimidating scene, while they have to do everything in 6 minutes, because that's exactly the time they have. After 6 minutes and 0 seconds, some trap doors open there, and the presenters fall down. So that's all they have. While at the same time, as I was saying, puppeteering, controlling, performing, or choreographing the whole demo for you. So from my personal experience, having been there in their shoes in the past 3 or 4 times, I can tell you, and trying to deliver all those things, I can tell you it can get pretty scary. So I would like the presenters and the contributors to stand up for a moment, for everyone here to clap, cheer, and give them a big round of applause. And it would be also great if you do the same thing every time they come on stage and they get ready to give their demo. That's going to help them a lot, I think. All right, next slide. OK, well, actually, another important thing is if any demo hangs like this or crashes like that, I got you, or glitches like that, then also clap and give all your support to the presenters. Because they will get nervous, and they will need all that energy to kind of figure out how to resolve the problem, so we can keep with the show. All right. Let's see. There we go. So photography, recording, and cheering and clapping are welcome. You are free to do this as much as you can. And I would like to quickly acknowledge the jury, who worked very hard to select the 12 demos that we are going to see today. They will also be voting for the Best in Show award, and which we will give at the end of the show. And you also will be voting for your own audience award. But we will talk about that a bit later. I also would like to thank MK, Diana, Gracie, Elena, and GT from the Real-Time Live subcommittee for taking care of many of the things that are necessary for this show to happen. I would like to thank also Carlos from GraphicsNet, and of course, Elena, Jeff, and Kurt, who are the producers of the show from the Freeman team, who really know how to put all this together and help me, and especially the presenters, shine on the stage. My hands are shaking. All right, and last, I would like to thank VFX Now for providing the computers and the GPUs that many of the presenters here will be using or have as backup machines. OK, and with that, let the show begin. All right. First demo, drawing with light, AI-driven visual synthesis for real-time laser installations. Presenting, we have Spencer Sterling. Spencer is a multidisciplinary artist in machine learning who transforms music into immersive visual environments. His process combines 3D graphics, custom AI models, and laser installations to create dynamic interactive experiences. He develops tools for experimental art and produces installations that explore the dialogue between music, space, and light. Spencer, take it over.
So I'm going to go ahead and walk through the entire system, and then I'm going to do a little performance at the end. So this entire process starts with generating visuals in real time using stable diffusion, specifically stream diffusion, which is a variant that runs in real time. And I'm doing this inside of Touch Designer using a toolkit developed by .simulate. So if I go into my patch here, this is in Touch Designer. The way that this works is that I have a noise texture coming in, and then that noise texture is fed into stream diffusion, where I can prompt to essentially denoise over it and control how it looks. And I can control how much I denoise. So this is like with very low denoise, where you just see the original noise, and then I can crank it up, and it turns into the prompt. And then from there, I go ahead and upscale it using the NVIDIA upscaler, real-time upscaler, and then sharpen it and do some transformations and some color correction, and then feed that back into itself. And what this does is it creates a really nice feedback loop that allows me to iteratively create frames that allow me to kind of explore this latent space in a kind of new way that is a little bit difficult usually to do. And this allows me to kind of create visuals on the fly. And because I can transform this in the feedback loop, I'm able to kind of like zoom in or kind of zoom out or even rotate the image every single iteration to produce all these interesting effects. And I can also, of course, change the prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and do like screaming face. And now, here, if I kind of turn this down, you can see now it gets to this. So this is also running a lot slower than it would normally run because I am waiting for a completely fresh frame in order to make this feedback process work properly. So normally, this could run at up to like 100 FPS on a 4090 with all optimizations, including TensorRT and everything. So from here, it goes to Touch Designer. So another instance of Touch Designer. Actually, no, first it goes to Notch. So Notch takes in this feed as a spout feed, which is a way of sharing textures across different programs by writing it to a GPU buffer, and then it can pick it off. Any program can pick it from there and read it in real time at full quality with 0 latency. So from there, I'm actually going and doing a threshold and then writing that to the alpha channel, which I'm going to output back to one of my Touch Designer instances. And I do this in Notch because I really like using Notch. I think it's a fun kind of program to use, and so I chose to kind of use it for this part of the process. I'm also doing a lot of other stuff in here that I'll go over afterwards. And then from there, it goes to this laser tracing setup. So here we can see now we're able to trace these graphics based on a threshold. So if I go into here, we can kind of see how this works. So I take the alpha channel that I wrote earlier, that's also coming from Spout, from Notch, and that comes into this setup that I built. So it first comes into this tracer. So this is the trace stop, which does a real-time vectorization of the thresholded image that I made before. And then I do some resampling and some processing to make it a little bit more digestible for the laser. Lasers have a limit in terms of being able to hit a certain amount of points per second because it is a moving physical mirror that's moving very, very quickly. And you can essentially, at 60 FPS, hit about 500 points per second, but I usually run at about 30 FPS. And if you slow it down, you actually get like much brighter effects. And so what I've done is kind of exploited that with these different tracing modes here. So you can see this top one is tracing everything. And these other ones are tracing smaller elements, and I can switch between them, like on my MIDI controller, to essentially make it brighter and also trace like smaller subsets of the entire visual. And just to illustrate that, I'll put up my test pattern here, and you can see like I can try to trace everything, or trace like smaller sections of it, or even kind of like little pieces of the final trace. So this gives me a lot of control on like how I'm actually tracing the visuals. And then from there, in the laser side of things, in Touch Designer, then it goes into this mapping setup. So traditionally, you're not able to do laser mapping in Touch Designer with the native tools, but there is a tool for projection mapping, which is called Canton Mapper. And if I open up Canton Mapper here, you can see that I'm able to go ahead and do a warping process for this incoming laser visual. And instead of it outputting pixels, what I'm able to do is grab the internal mesh that's actually used inside of that setup, and then use this thing called a creep sop, which will take the traced paths and actually map it to this 2D distorted mesh, and that is what allows me to actually map it to the projected image correctly. And then from there, I also am using a kind of built-in visualizer in Touch Designer that allows me to see this laser signal as pixels, and that actually gets sent back to Notch here. So that's what is able to create these effects. And as well, the entire thing is controlled from Touch Designer here. So actually, I've damn near ran out of time, but here's this is kind of what it looks like all together. All right. Cool. So that's it. I'll be doing the panel tomorrow. You guys can ask me questions afterwards, but yeah.
Very cool. I really like that HDR thing. So amazing. OK. Next demo, we have painting with 3D Gaussian Splat brushes. Presenting will be Karan Pandey from the University of Toronto, Elua Champagne from the National Film Board of Canada. Karan is a PhD student at the University of Toronto, advised by Karen Sain. His research focuses on interactive tools and representations for visual creation, editing, and exploration. He generally works with artistic graphical representations and enjoys designing interactive graphic workflows for creative tasks that are convenient, intuitive, and fun. Elua, Head of Technical Direction and Production Technology at the National Film Board of Canada, leads the development and implementation of the organization's technical strategies. An expert in visual effects on an international scale, Elua applies his expertise to animation, documentary, cinema, and XR productions. Guys, go ahead.
Hey, Karen, I need your help with something. I need to show some visual for one of our animation projects to a producer. Did you get those files I sent you, those volumetric capture, the Gaussian splatting files?
You mean this one?
No, not the bike scene again. You know the winter scene that Frank has captured?
Right. I'm just playing with you. There's your winter scene right there.
Very funny. All right. Yes, that scene. I wish actually that we could just use this to make the mock-up and add to it.
Right. So it's interesting you say that, because I've actually spent the last few months making this library of cool volumetric captures, turning them into brushes that we can paint with. It's still so crazy to me how all you need is a quick video and then you have these beautiful structures at your disposal.
Nice. That's brilliant. So, you know, for that concept, for the story, this little snow patch, there's this like fire pit in the middle. It's a magic fire pit, and it gets little flowers to grow in the freezing snow. Can we add fire to that fire pit?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Fire's my favorite brush. Let me show you what happens when we paint with fire.
Nice. You know what? That looks great. It felt like it was burning for a second when you did that. So now that you played with fire, any way we can add those little cute little magical flower?
Right. Let me switch over to my flower brush. And this time what we want is, we want these to look really wild and natural. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit of jitter to them. We're going to jitter their scale. We're also going to jitter their orientation. And you know, maybe I want to push them a little deep into the snow with the depth offset. And I'm just going to set that there. And now we're ready to paint.
Wow, nice. Can we look at that on an angle, please? Sweet. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. So your brush seems pretty good at making those unstructured organic elements, but you know, in that story, that snow patch is its own little world, and I need a wall of rocks, and I need a cobblestone path going to it. Can your brush do that?
Let's try that. So I showed you these rocks I had earlier. Let me now try and paint this wall of rocks around this patch.
Nice. You know what? I can go with that. Can you explain more what you're doing here? How does that work?
Absolutely. So what's happening is, as a user paints a stroke in real time, we're carefully placing and deforming these Gaussians to convert these beautiful captures into seamless, coherent structures like this one.
Nice. I like that, Pat. I can go for this.
Now, to top it off, I want to add a row of plants I captured on the way to my grandmom's house back in India.
Yeah, nice touch. Nice touch. I like that. You know, that's pretty close to what I want. I guess we could put our main hero character in the scene. You know that other file I sent you? Can you load that?
You mean this guy?
Yes. You know what? We spent quite a bit of time shooting this character with a great camera, great lens, lighting, everything high-res, all good. We did the Gaussian splat, and it has this big hole on its belly, so I'm going to have to shoot that again.
Oh no, wait. I think I might be able to help you with this. Let's actually make a brush out of the fox's fur, and then we're going to use our depth offset again to kind of paint inside the belly a little bit.
Did you see that squad drop in? Let's hope they're not as clueless as you.
Oops.
What's the plan to outsmart them this time, genius?
Not part of the presentation. But that looks good. That was like magic. Loved it. Don't have to reshoot it. You saved me a lot of time. Now we can put that in the scene, I guess.
Yep.
You know what I had in mind because it's a mock-up, I want this little fox to look like it's walking along on the path. I was imagining some kind of conga line of foxes.
A conga, okay, well, let me see what I can do for you.
Sweet, that works for me. Can you export that in from different angles so I can show that to the producer this afternoon?
Absolutely.
Nice. So that's 3D Gaussian splat painting in under 5 minutes. So whether it's playing around with seasons, building structure, fixing your puppet character, that cute little fox, splat painting can do it all. Gaussian splat can be very helpful in pre-production to previs a camera path or explore visual styles. or even in production to create a set extension for a stop-motion short or a background plate for a virtual production shoot. But we need tools like this one that allow the same level of creative control that we expect from traditional 3D software.
We're excited to bring creators a comprehensive pipeline to bring their wildest ideas to life and actually leverage the true potential of working with digital 3D capture. This tool is just an early research prototype and we're just getting started. So if you want to follow along with us on this journey, you have this QR code where we can keep you posted, or come try out the tool yourself tomorrow morning or Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, something had to happen. The demo spirits are among us here. You know, I really like the 3D painting. I think this is the future of content creation. But anyways, demo number 3. Where's my clicker? Here. All right. Demo number 3, Descendant, reimagining Guangdong embroidery and folk rituals through digitalization. Presenting on stage, we have Rita Wang, and presenting from the other side of the planet, we have Wei He. And we also have some assistants. We have some student volunteers, like Ali Hafez, Claire Ogawa, and Gabi Chung. And also we have Giti Yang from the Real-Time Live Subcommittee. So thank you for helping with this demo. And Rita, take it over.
3、2、1，开始。
Hi there, please look on the stage, and this is a vintage piece of Chinese Guangdong tutu embroidery, which is also known as a very famous local cultural heritage. And it is super gorgeous and delicate, isn't it? And you know, these long, narrow tapestries usually held up in the ancestral temples, witnessing the local rituals, like the parades or the prayers generation by generation. However, only these photos or the documentaries are very limited to show the story behind it. Therefore, our project, Descendant, is trying to revive all the stuff in a digital way through a series of workflows. And our first step, instead of the static images, we make all these figures dance.
So we have the scanned totems transformed into the image sequence and import them into Blender. For now, they're just gray squares, but as I switch to the material preview in real-time rendering, we got our live performers, and I can also adjust their positions in the 3D space.
Okay, now let's meet about the cyber parade troop. And as the stage designer, if you are not satisfied with the stage effect, you can walk among the tube in the VR and get a perspective of the performer or the audience to adjust the visual effect by yourself immersively.
So we're inside VR now. What about we turn the stage light on? Okay. There we go. And we have our cyber.
Beautiful.
And what about we adding some fish? Oh. And maybe some flowers. Do you want a dragon?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Or a phoenix?
Wow.
I have an idea. What about letting them to dance in the ocean?
Oh, wow.
Oh. Okay. Let them move.
Beautiful. And at this moment, maybe you're also wondering where this parade is heading to. And our destination is the ancestral temple, which quite like the cathedrals or the great mosques in different cultures. And normally we set all the decorations exactly where they are to mimic the physical reality. For example, here is for the incense smoke burner, and these places are for the tapestries of the embroidery. But in the VR world, let's do something surreal.
So we use the geometric knots to mimic and simulate and combine the physics of both the embroidery threads and the incense smoke. So as I change the number here, you can see the colorful sparkles morph into the embroidered smoke.
Yes, this super dope, colorful smoke could be considered as the algorithmic metaphor, symbolizes lineage, continuity, and the pure and the beautiful wishes of the local ethnic groups. And besides, the real-time editing can also apply to the walls of the temple. So in this way, we could show the different status of the local historical architectures in different shades. And therefore, the creators or the cultural researchers can mark the different status of the protection.
For example, I just switched from the ink wall style to the mirrored walls, and probably we can also show the process of erosion. So we packed the above digital assets into a VR journey. And for those who cannot return home, to join the parade virtually. So I'm going to just switch to the VR journey. OK. So for this beautiful breathing embroidery threads, they represent for the lineage and the continuity of a family culture. And for real-time editing, it enables the creators like us to fix our artistic interpretation while creating. Traditionally, when we are using the offline rendering, wigs are wasted if there's a minor mistake take place. But in the real-time editing, we can focus more on the research subject, the cultural storytelling, and also pivot our strategy instantly. And also here, we have...
Yes, and this is a mini app that we created as well. And here are listed all the digital assets that we collected all about this embroidery. So the creators or the designers can select some of these elements to make their own digital artworks.
So I just finished my artworks. I'm gonna just name it RTL, Real-Time Live, and upload it onto the website. Just a minute, and I can see, OK, I can see my work here. And I will also
Yes, and so
update.
In this way, all the creators on this globe, no matter where they are, can show their creativity or the imagination and understanding about this intangible cultural heritage. So through this work, we do want question that if the code can remember what the artisans forget. And honestly, we don't have the answer. But we do believe that the tools can keep the stories alive and also bridge the distance between East and West, culture and technology, and also bridge the online. So also it maybe will assist us to find out where we come from and where we go. Probably that is our virtual hometown. So in the end, we do have the descendants can lead all the audience today to hear the whispering from our ancestors. 欢迎回家，流浪的孩子们。Welcome home, our diaspora and wanderers in this digital era. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, team. That was beautiful. Will I learn about the clicker? Here. All right. Next demo is real-time graphics in Desmos with just math and a browser. Presenting is Eli Luberov. Am I going in the right order? Yes. OK, hey. I didn't see him. Desmos founder Eli's two dueling loves are learning and programming. He combines those loves in Desmos Studio, a public benefit corporation with the goal of helping everyone learn math, love math, and grow with math. Eli, the stage is yours.
All right. Thank you, Inigo. So yeah, I'm Eli. I run Desmos Studio PBC. And I'm curious, has anyone out there actually heard of Desmos before? All right. This is going to be fun. So for those of you who haven't, Desmos is a graphing calculator that works inside of a browser and that, to our delight, ends up being a really useful tool for graphics. And so if you'll indulge me, we're just going to play around with math for a little bit. So here, I've got the equation of a sphere, and I want to turn this into a hemisphere, so I'm going to add a domain restriction. Let's just do the bottom half of this. And now I want to try graphing a cylinder on top of this, so I'm going to set a radius, which is going to be a. We'll fill that in later. And let's do something like x plus 0.3 squared and y plus 0.1 squared. And now I can add a parameter for a, and I get a cylinder here as well. And what I really want is the part of this hemisphere that's outside of the cylinder. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to make it another restriction on here. Let's just take this part. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. And that looks about right. And maybe folks know where I'm going with this, but if I turn on the second half and maybe rotate this a little bit, we get the SIGGRAPH logo. All right, so that's what I'm able to do with this. But when we were first developing this, I reached out to Inigo and I said, what do you think? And he whipped together this. So this is what it looks like in the hands of someone like Inigo. It's a handful of equations, just 10 of these, that create this adorable little character. And again, everything here is parameterizable, so I can adjust, where are the antenna coming from? Or here, Inigo defined a color. Everything in here is parameterizable, so I could change this and have a custom amount of blue at the end and see exactly how that variable impacts this. And for those of you who are wondering, this is running entirely in the browser. There's no special hardware. There's no special software. You can run this on a Chromebook if you want to. And so to our surprise, this has ended up being not just a graphing calculator, but a really useful tool for exploring and sharing ideas about graphics. And not just for people like Inigo who can make awesome graphics on like a potato using toothpicks, but also for mortals like the rest of us. And so to show you an example of this, every year we do an event where students from around the world participate and submit art using math. And so these are some of the selections from the more than 10,000 people who participated this year. And we're going to start by looking at this one here by someone named Oba Shun. And this was an attempt to make an aurora using math. So behind the scenes, what Oba started with was this, just playing around with perspective and a grid of perspective, and then building on top of this. And again, this is all happening just in a browser as a graphing calculator, and in fact, our boring 2D graphing calculator. So here is what it looks like when you start to add a little bit of texture, and all of this we can adjust. So here's the function that's determining the shape of the ceiling, and we can try different values for this, see what happens if we toss in a negative. And you put this all together, and you end up with this beautiful piece of art. Yeah, let's hear it for Oba. Oba was also 16 when they submitted this graph. Let's jump to another one. So now we're going to look in the age 13 to 14 category and look at this graph by Inler. And so Inler started again in our 2D calculator, but started by developing their own 3D rendering environment. So this has all of the matrix transformations built in. You can change the number of these triangles, and then it's all sorted using the painter's algorithm here. Built a tool for converting an OBJ file into Desmos. Uploaded a clarinet here using that tool. But Inler wasn't just happy having it look like a clarinet. Inler wanted it to also sound like a clarinet. And it turns out there's a lot of math behind sound as well. So we're going to play around with this. In the calculator, you can make sound using this tone primitive. And so this is going to be just a basic sinusoidal oscillator that we can hear. And then we can play around with some of the math of this. So I'm going to make a new parameter here. This is going to be how many semitones we're going up or down from this A440. And so each semitone is going to be a 12th root of 2. So I'm going to multiply this by a to the 2 over 12. Sorry, 2 to the a over 12, right? But that doesn't sound quite like a clarinet. And so what we want to do is play around with the overtones of a clarinet. So we're going to look at this. And now this is one that's also introducing the overtones. And I'm going to adjust some of these frequencies. Clarinets skip all of the even multiples, the even overtones. So are folks hearing some of these coming in? And now if I turn this off and turn it on again, magically you're going to hear a clarinet. And we put this all together, and here is Inler's project. And let's listen to this clarinet. We've got a 3D model that you can rotate and look at the reeds, and we can also play it. So that is what you can do using just a browser as a 13 or 14-year-old. So it's kind of surreal for me to be here at SIGGRAPH because the work that we do at Desmos is only possible because of the incredible research that has come out of this conference. We often will look at papers from here to make it so you can do that kind of thing at 60 frames a second in a browser. And also I know that some folks in the audience are using Desmos, and in fact we collaborate with folks from companies like Bungie and Disbelief, and if you want to join in, we would love you to. So reach out to us. I'm Eli at Desmos.com with my colleague Pooja at Desmos.com. Would love to see you here. Would love to see you tomorrow at the roundtables. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Eli, and thanks for the cameo. That doesn't guarantee that you will win the award, though. Just saying. All right. Next demo, number 5. Here we go. Infinite Studio, 4D volumetric capture for filmmaking and beyond. Presenting, we have Sun Chiaming from 4DV AI. We have Wan Cher from MediaStorm and Ding Yuke. So Jiamin is the founder and CEO of 4DV AI, a startup developing tools for 4D video and 4D video capture and processing. He spent over 5 years working at DJI and SenseTime. His research focuses on 3D computer vision and computer graphics. Chu Wang is a 3D motion designer who built a mesh-driven Blender workflow for 4D and 3D Gaussian assets, seamlessly integrating it into the industry pipelines and empowering artist expression through bidirectional Gaussian mesh lighting and shadowing with fully native cycle-if support. Ding Yuke is a 3D and technical artist with a background in physics, exploring how emerging technologies can expand the boundary of human experience and storytelling. All right, team, go for it.
All right. So thank you, Inigo, and hi, everyone. I'm Taming. So as Inigo says, we are working on 4D Gaussian splatting, or we simply call it 4D videos. So what you're seeing here is a scene captured by our 4D camera system, and everything is rendered using Gaussian splatting. So many of you are probably already familiar with 3D Gaussians for capturing static environments. Well, 4D Gaussian splatting takes a step further and let us capture dynamic scenes. So what's interesting is that we are not using a per-frame 3D Gaussian approach. So if we shrink down the size of each Gaussian point like this, and slow down the playback speed, so you will find the points are actually not flickering in and out between each frame, but they're actually flowing continuously in both space and time. So this representation not only gives us the best temporal stability, and it also reduces the size of the 4D video to be comparable to the bitrate of a normal 2D video you can capture by your phone. So let's restart it back, and you can see the stability. And you might also be interested in how these 4D videos are captured. And here's another scene. And if we pan the virtual camera around, you may find somewhere around 24 to 80 cameras covering point at every angle, covering 180 or 360 degrees. Yeah. And the entire camera setup is mobile, and you can even carry it out to some in the wild scenes like this one. So we are making this entire system as a hardware product and let everyone to capture their own 4D videos without going to an expensive studio. So why does all of this matter? So 4D videos can give content creators infinite freedom during post-production, and we believe that it will reshape the way we tell stories in the future. So let me introduce my teammate Wang Zhi, who is the creator of our 4D.js plugin in Blender, to tell you more about the capabilities of 4D videos in post-production.
Now let's open Blender and take a look how we can integrate our 4D Gaussian splatting asset into a Blender-based workflow. What you're seeing here is a 4D video rendering in real time with the EV engine in Blender. The beauty of this setup is that you can point the virtual camera anywhere you like, creating moves that would be nearly impossible with physical rigs. For example, here is a visual camera trajectory and a body time effect. Because we can reframe from any angle, you only need a single take during capture. No need to re-show the same thing from multiple angles for different takes. That means less production time and finally lower cost. And let's switch to another thing.
All right, here we go.
Here scene is a fully retraced rendering implementation in cycles.
So you're just seeing is a cat eating some food, and we can switch back to a normal view to see it's a fully retraced implementation of Gaussian splatting within cycles.
And we set up 2 virtual mirrors.
Yeah, just a second. So let's switch to another camera.
So you can
and
see the
here we go.
You can see the infinite reflections of the 4D Gaussian splatting between them. And
yeah.
Turn on camera depth of field.
All right, here we go. So we can even change the aperture to somewhere around 0.4, which is physically impossible.
You can also fully adjust the focus position and aperture size in post-production. Everything just works out of the box.
Yeah, so now I'm changing the focus distance to the reflection of the cat in the back, like this. Everything is possible now. All right. So thanks, Wang Zhi. So as you can see, 4D video gives film directors and VFX artists a brand new toolbox to tell stories beyond the traditional limit of physical cameras and 2D video production pipelines. So let's move on to the next part of our demo, which is a non-photorealistic art project made in Unreal Engine. So let me introduce Yuko, who is the developer of our Unreal Engine plugin.
All right, let's start by looking at the raw data from the shot. Multiple fish swimming in a simple tank. Now let's see how we bring that data into Unreal Engine and let the fish swim in a much bigger space out in the forest.
All right, just a second. And here we go. Just a second. It's a little bit glitch. So it's, oh, yeah. I forgot to play the demo.
Yeah, it's his first time trying Unreal Engine.
And make it full screen. Here we go.
Okay, now we have a demo in action. If you ever tried to recreate a fish swimming, you know it's gonna take a lot of effort. But with 4D Gaussian splatting, we can capture it instantly. The tail gently floating, the body swinging, gliding smoothly through water. The best part is, once we have that data,
the machine is overloading for some unknown reason.
That's real-time live.
Yeah. Let's try to close some of these. And
it's pretty
close.
It's pretty heavy to have everything.
All right. And maybe even close the blender.
All right.
Yeah, here we go.
Now we have it. Thank you. Thanks to Unreal Engine's Niagara system and the material system, we can add all kinds of VFX and turn it into a real-time stylized animation. Imagine this inside a game, a VR world, or interactive art piece. It's not just a fish anymore, it's the living, breathing part of the experience inside of Unreal Engine.
All right, so thanks, Yuko. So that concludes our demo, and we are super excited to see what you can create with these new tools. And you can visit 4dv.ai/SIGGRAPH to learn more and get in touch with us. And thank you very much.
All right, that was very impressive, I must say. You saw it here first at SIGGRAPH. Having fun so far? Yeah? All right, next demo. Oh. I didn't update the slides. All right. We had some technical difficulties this morning, and we got the last demo, we squeezed it in the show in the very last minute. So I'm going to read it. So demo number 6, spatial sensing, real-time immersive environmental sensing. Presenting is going to be Julian Hummel from the California Institute of Technology. Julian is a staff scientist and principal investigator at Caltech. He develops autonomous algorithms for measurement tools and augmented reality. His research also covers wind tunnel measurement systems. Julian earned his PhD in mechanical engineering from the ETH Zurich and was a Caltech postdoc. Okay, Julian, go.
Thank you, Inigo. Hi, SIGGRAPH. What I want to show you today is a real-time measurement system for environmental sensing. It combines 3 aspects. It has real-time human-in-the-loop machine learning, real-time augmented reality visualizations, and finally, it's measuring the real physics. Let's call it spatial sensing. What this allows us is to basically gamify the measurement of these systems. So we can remove the domain knowledge of how to do these measurements, and we can have a broader amount of people actually conduct the measurements. And also we can see flow fields or environmental fields that are usually invisible. So enough theory, let's do an experiment. What we have here is like a small fan that produces an airflow. This handheld has an accurate measurement device for sensing airflows. So it senses the pressure on the tip and also the incidence angle of the air and the air velocity. So we can go and poke with this in 3D and sample the flow field. The tip of this probe is tracked by the motion capture system, which allows us to then build this field in 3D, and it also has the accuracy, the spatial accuracy of the motion capture system. Okay. So let's do this experiment. First, let's take on the headset, and I'll bring you online. So you should see on the screens one static view and one view what I'm seeing. Does it work? Perfect. Okay, first we have to align the head-mounted display with the motion capture system. What we do with that, we have like this small cross here, and we know the locations of this cross in the space of the head-mounted display and also in the space of the motion capture system, and so we can align this. Obviously, this could also be a fiducial marker or other methods of alignment, but often you don't have anything handy, so this is what we came up with. The box that you will see later is the focus of the machine learning system. So we have a domain of interest for the machine learning algorithms that basically then go ahead and tell me where to measure. So one more, and then we're good. Okay, now you can already see the overlay of the measurement in a second. So let's close this. Let's quickly calibrate our sensor, and after that we are good to go. Within this box, the region of interest and also the surroundings are discretized with an OpenVDB grid that hold the measurement values and also the prediction. If we could switch on the fan, we can start the measurement, and you can already see how basically so the red arrow there are the real measurements. This is not a simulation, this is the real physics, and you can also see like out here, there is very little flow, so it's shaking a lot, and that red arrow helps me to align the probe. Then the green dot with the 2 chevrons are the current optimal measurement location predicted by the machine learning model. With that, I can ensure, or basically the algorithm ensures, that the measurement will be valid in the end. And so I do not need to know what actually is going on and can conduct these measurements. And after like the few seconds of measurement, let's get some predictions. So we can already see here the vector field that shows us what we are measuring and what this airflow looks like. And it's also updating as we conduct more measurements, and the system and the machine learning system underneath lowers the certainty or increases the certainty and lowers the uncertainty of its prediction. So why does this matter? This matters because doing a measurement like this with other techniques would take days to set up and to conduct the measurement itself and have the measurement equipment ready. And we just did this in 2 minutes. The OpenVDB grids underneath provide a prediction of the current state of the machine learning model and also have an acquisition grid. The acquisition grid tells me where to measure next. So we're evaluating these grids and see where to move. For example, here it's missing something on the boundaries. And we are using a standard exploitation scheme for you who's into the machine learning. And in the end, we also even run a data simulation phase where we combine the measured data with the equations to even lower the prediction. Okay. So you're now wondering, why does this matter at all? And it matters because having quick data, having a way to conduct measurements quickly and collect more data allows us to feed our data-hungry machine learning models and get a better prediction of how our environments work and also how our environments are actually behave. Thank you very much, and enjoy SIGGRAPH.
Thank you, Julian. This man is very persistent and stubborn in the best way possible. I'm very happy we got the demo in. All right. Next up, demo number 7, any character, any movement. Presenting, we have Tony Thibault and Ryan Woodard from the company Utsana. Tony is an accomplished senior engineer at Utsana with over 20 years of experience in video game development and VR technology. He has guided engineering teams and shipped titles on mobile, desktop, console, and VR headsets. Past roles include spread-heading advanced animation systems at Crystal Dynamics and High Fidelity. Ryan is a machine learning engineer with background in computational physics and complex systems science. He's an Utsana founder engineer, where he leverages deep learning and distributed systems to create innovative solutions for character animation. Ryan has built and deployed scalable pipelines and production models across various industries and high-stakes environments. All right, go for it.
All right, thanks, Inigo. I am super excited to show what we've been working on at Utsana, our real-time character controller. But first, this is Unreal Engine, and this is the built-in character controller that comes with Unreal. And you can see the character starts and stops somewhat abruptly, and then 180 turns, the character just spins in place. If you're starting off with a new project, this is fine, but we could do better. So let's hook up our real-time character controller. Recompile and restart. All right. So this is our model running in Unreal Engine 5. And you could see the character starts and stops a lot more smoothly, and the 180 turns are a lot more realistic. Basically the character is a lot more grounded in the environment. So this is our generative diffusion model embedded in UE5. The model is running in real time, and every frame you see is AI generated. Using a controller, I could smoothly transition from a walk to a jog and to a sprint. I could also control the facing direction separate from movement, so I could backpedal or sidestep and do all the directions in between. So this model uses 20 megabytes of memory, which is much less than motion matching, which would take over 100 megabytes to match the same motion. And these aren't canned animation clips just playing back. The model is generating the motion on the spot based on controller input. Yeah, our plugin fits right into Unreal. No complex state machines or animation databases to manage. And you could transition out at any time or layer on physics or IK. Oh, that looked painful. So now you can see the characters limping. And so this is just one of the styles that's embedded in our model. Let's take a closer look at more of those styles on our website. All right, so this is uthana.com. And just like in Unreal, you can get the character moving just by clicking on the ground or using the control keys. Let's take a look at a couple more of those styles. Like, he's looking a bit sad. Maybe his paper didn't get accepted to SIGGRAPH this year. Or this guy. I think I saw him power walking on the waterfront earlier. But we don't just have a few styles, we have over 100. Let's take a look at, can't show them all here, but this one's my favorite. I'm the big boss guy, and I'm gonna kick your ass. So we can make a recording of this motion. Let's have the character walk into the camera, and yeah, let's stop it, and then upload it. Big boss guy. All right, and now once it's uploaded to uthana.com, we can modify it further with our powerful AI tools. Here's Ryan to show you more.
Thank you very much, Tony. That was fantastic. That was fast twitch generative AI in the browser. Now we're going to slow twitch generative AI in our back end. This is our text-to-motion suite. We have 3 different text-to-motion models on the back end. Each one produces a different unique motion for you. Choose the one you want. I'll go with this one. This is about a 9.5-second clip. For this demo, I want them to be about 3 seconds. So I'm going to trim it down a bit. Let's see here. And save it. So now we have to ask, why is Manny celebrating? Because he's going to kick the winning goal at next year's World Cup. Now we do have a motion library. We have over 30,000 pre-made clips that you can search through and select. But if you want to generate something that's not in our library or something fresh, we generate it with our back-end models. And again, 3 different models, 3 different previews. I like this middle one. I'm not going to wait for the last one, the demo. Again, this is, let's see, 5 seconds. I'm going to trim this down to 3 as well. Bring that one, and that one. And now I'm going to create a scene. I'm going to take these 2 motions and stitch them together. So we go to our stitch mode. We make this, the kicking the soccer ball, the leading motion. For the trailing motion, we go to celebrating a victory. And then we stitch. This is a different generative AI model. The in-between frames are not just interpolated. They're actually, each one is AI generated. So now we've got this scene, which is great. We could even retarget it right away to our flagship character, Tar. Now, Tar has 5 spine bones, by the way. If we had chosen to retarget to a smaller character like Mousy, Mousy has 3 spine bones. Where's our spine? There we go. 3 spine bones, but we want you to retarget, we want you to bring your own character. So if you have a local FBX or GLB, you can upload it and we'll retarget to you. And you don't have to specify bone mapping, we do that for you. And even if you don't have a rig, if you just have a mesh, we will rig it for you. And now we're gonna have your character with this generative AI scene kicking and celebrating. But let's keep going. Let's go, remember the big boss guy that Tony made. Let's trim that down, and we're going to make the big boss guy play some soccer. You think live coding's hard? Try live trimming motion. Okay, there we go. About 3 seconds. We trim this now. And now this is our leading motion, the big boss guy walking forward, and the trailing motion is going to be the soccer scene. Come up, and we can even adjust the stitch duration if we wanted. How about 0.8 seconds? We stitch them together. And now we have your character that you uploaded and you controlled in real time in browser with our generative models that we then stitch to our text-to-motion model. And if you like these models, you can download them to FBX or GLB. So all of you developers and animators, come to uthana.com and generate more motions more quickly. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Thank you.
That was really, really cool. Thank you. Next up, we have Miegakure, a game where you interact with a 3D world. Presenting is Mark Den Bosch. Mark is an independent game developer based in San Francisco, currently working on Miegakure, a puzzle game that lets you explore and interact with a 4-dimensional world. He also released 4D Toys, a physics-based 4-dimensional toy box for VR and iOS. Mark, have fun.
So, Miegakure is a 4D game, a game where there's a 4th dimension of space. So I thought I would show you what it would actually look like if you could walk through walls using the 4th dimension, and in the process explain what the 4th dimension is. So let's say you want to get to the other side of that wall, but you can't jump over it and you can't walk around it. But what if there was more to this world? What if you could walk around the wall using the 4th dimension? So you turn the face along the 4th dimension, walk along the 4th dimension, and turn back. You discover that the wall has disappeared and has been replaced by a pile of rubble in the middle of the desert. But before I continue, let me explain something first. So let's say you're this 2D character and you want to get to the other side of that wall. But you can't jump over it, and well, that's about it. But what if there was more to this world? What if the world was actually 3D and you were a 2D flat character that's stuck on a 2D plane? You could walk past the wall by sidestepping it, but how do you do that since you're stuck on a plane? So you press a button to turn sideways, and now when you're moving this way, you're no longer moving the regular way, you're moving along the 3rd dimension. So you take a few steps and press the button again to face the original way, except now you're in a parallel world that's further along the 3rd dimension. So the wall is not in front of you anymore, it's off to the side, and you can walk right past it. And you can notice that some rubble must have fallen off the wall along the 3rd dimension. So you turn sideways, take a few steps, and turn back to face the original way. But this 2D character is only 2D, so what does he see when he turns sideways? He might think the world is deforming, but actually all he's doing is seeing different slices along the 3rd dimension, similar to what you would see in an MRI machine, for example. The world is not deforming, you're just seeing it from multiple perspectives. So when he's further along the 3rd dimension in the desert world, he can't see the wall, but he can see the rubble. And from this sideways perspective, you can walk across worlds back into the grass world. So back to figure problems. So what if the world was actually 4D, but you could only see 3 dimensions? In other words, what if you were stuck on a 3D plane within a 4D world? So you press a button to turn sideways, and now when you're moving this way, it doesn't mean what it used to mean. It means moving along the fourth dimension. So you take a few steps and you press the button again to face the original way, and now you see that the wall has disappeared and has been replaced by a pile of rubble in the middle of the desert. It's because it's offset from what you started with, so it's no longer in front of you. So you can walk past the wall, and it's fine. And you can see that some rubble has fallen off the wall along the fourth dimension. So you turn sideways, take a few steps to get back to the world you came from, and turn back. And this is how you walk through walls using the fourth dimension. So all of this is correctly programmed in 4D, and I'll explain a little bit about how that works. But also, there is no equivalent of the external view, at least in our universe. So in a 3D game, meshes are represented using triangles. But in a 4D game, we use tetrahedra. And those tetrahedra are glued together to make up the surface of a 4D object. And what we do is take a 3D slice through those tetrahedra, and that gives us a 2D surface, which we can then render the usual way. So how would we model a four-dimensional mesh? Well, if we modeled procedurally a crystal, we would start with a hexagon and extrude it along the third dimension. In 4D, we can do the same thing, but instead of starting with a 2D hexagon, we start with a 3D dodecahedron and extrude it along the fourth dimension. So in this scene, every crystal is this exact same 4D shape, but because they're oriented in various different ways, they look like they have many different shapes. And this is a more complicated four-dimensional mesh. How about texturing? So in a 3D game, a texture would be a 2D image of pixels. In a 4D game, we would use a 3D block of voxels. So here I have this texture of a four-dimensional leaf, and it's made this way so that whenever I take a slice through it, it looks like a regular three-dimensional leaf. And here it is in the game, and the branches are made similar to the crystals, but the leaves, based on how you slice them, will look very different. And this is all I have time to show right now, but it's a 20-hour-long game, and so there's lots to talk about, and thank you.
That was amazing, pretty mind-blowing. Okay, Crazy fast physics, augmented vertex block descent in action. Presenting, we have Chris Gilles from Roblox, Ellie Diaz, and Jem Yüksel from the University of Utah. Gilles is a Thank you. All right, second attempt. Gilles is a lead developer and researcher on the Roblox physics team. His primary interests are in real-time physics simulations, aiming to achieve large-scale, accurate simulations sustainable for games. He's also interested in real-time rendering techniques, particularly those revolving around ray tracing, global illumination, and handling large-scale scenes. Ellie Diaz is a PhD student at the University of Utah, working with Dr. Jem Yüksel, and his research interests revolve around physics-based simulations, having done work with the hair simulation, using material point methods to simulate snow, and now working on expanding the vertex block descent method. Jem Yüksel is an associate professor in the Carlett School of Computing at the University of Utah, and he co-founded Cyber Radiance LLC, a computer graphics software company. His research interests are in computer graphics and related fields, including physically based simulations, rendering, graphics hardware, modeling complex geometries, and hair. All right, go for it.
Hello, SIGGRAPH Real-Time Live. We're so thrilled to be here. This is one of my favorite events at SIGGRAPH, and we're here to show you the fastest physics solver ever that can properly handle frictional contact, articulated bodies, and stacking of objects, and lots of objects. Isn't that cool? Nah, you guys don't seem to be impressed much. Chris, why don't you show them the others? Yeah? No, just zoom out so we can see the whole thing. All right, now we're talking. So you see, this is the fastest physics solver ever. Chris, how many objects do we have here?
That's 1 million objects, 1,000,001, 1,000,002, 1,000,003.
All right, I think that's enough for 2D. Can we switch to 3D?
Sure, I have a 3D scene here. This is a coliseum that we built by stacking a ton of giant blocks. Here we have over 100,000 of them, actually, all dynamically simulated with frictional contact.
Simulated what simulated? They're not even moving.
Well, they're not supposed to move, but I can make them move.
So a common trick with physics solvers is to simulate objects only when they're moving. Otherwise, they're put to sleep. They're not simulated, but we're not doing that here. So all 100,000 plus blocks are awake. All their collisions are simulated every frame, even if they're not moving. Ellie.
Well, Ellie, I think you made a real mess in here. Did you not stick these blocks together with some glue or cement or something?
Nope, they're stacked like dominoes, so they're gonna fall like dominoes.
Let me show you how to build a structure properly. So if you just stack some blocks to build a wall, it'll crumble with any impact. But we can add some constraints between the bricks, simulating a proper wall. So each constraint tries to keep the objects glued together, and then we add a force limit, after which the constraint breaks, and this simulates fracturing.
I think it's more fun to just stack them. It's more fun that way.
Okay, while Ellie's destroying these pyramids, let me tell you a little bit about what's going on under the hood here. So there's no hacks or approximations or AI voodoo or anything. This is a new numerical solver that we have developed using nothing but, well, good old natural human intelligence with no artificial flavors. We call it augmented vertex block descent. We presented it as a technical paper here at SIGGRAPH earlier today. Well, if you missed the paper talk, don't worry about it. The paper is out there. You can still read it, and all the details are in there. So this method is unconditionally stable, and it is the fastest general-purpose physics solver ever by over an order of magnitude.
And just so you can appreciate the speed of this solver, let me show you a comparison. So this is NVIDIA's PhysX engine. This is the fastest off-the-shelf GPU solver we have access to, and it's used in a lot of games and other industries today.
So this is not ours?
No, so ours is actually much faster. This one's doing a pretty good job simulating 20,000 bricks at 30 FPS, but if we add more objects, we can see it really slows down. So our solver can simulate the same scene with 20,000 in less than a millisecond. And at the limit, we can do about 1 million objects in 3D at 30 FPS on a 4090. And this is including collision detection and rendering. So this is about 50 times faster than what PhysX can do for the same scene.
Yeah. And we can do a lot more. We can simulate deformable objects, right, such as this cloth here, and we can handle articulated bodies, well, lots of them, as you can see here, proudly presenting the rainbow colors of SIGGRAPH. So our method augments the vertex block descent method that we presented last year at SIGGRAPH, led by my student Anke Chen. This augmented version is to handle friction and articulated joints and stacking, especially. So I can stand here and tell you all the details of how this works and all that, but that's already in the papers. So we're going to do something different here. We're going to do something crazy. We're going to do something that we could never properly test before. We're going to test it for the first time on the RTL stage. So we're going to give the control to you guys, all right? So here we have a ball running down some ramp, and we have 2 mics on either side of the room. So you'll be able to control this ball. Well, you'll be able to control it by making some noise. Right now, I'm only on the right side of this room. Make some noise. Oh, well, that was good. Okay, now try the opposite, the left side. Let's make some noise. Which side was louder? Well, let's find out. Come on, everyone. Down the middle. Okay, now you know how this works. Let's play a game together. And don't worry, I'm going to help you, okay? So let's get this started. And I'll tell you where to go. Yeah? We're going down straight now. Ready? Right side, make some noise. Left side, make some noise. Oh, right side again. Left side. Right side. Left side. Both sides. Okay. All right, now you get how this works. This time you're on your own. I'm not going to help you. We're going to try this again, okay? I'll be quiet. You go. Okay. Now, the last demo we'll show you today is what we call destruction bowling. Well, you know how this works. Yeah, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, that was a good center shot. Shall we try this again? Yeah, do one more time. Come on. Pick a side, guys. Oh, that worked. Good. Okay, I'll give you one last shot, but this is your last time, okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, thanks. That's all for us, for crazy fast physics, guys. So, you can check out our project page where you can find a 2D demo that works on your phone and even the source code that you can play with it. And it's augmented vertex block descent in action. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, Jen, Jules, and Eli. That was really amazing. Okay, next. Real-time path tracing with NVIDIA RTX Megatexture, presenting Manuel Kramer and Dylan Lacewell. Wait. Well, sorry. Go, clap. I should never stop a clap. Okay. Manuel is currently working as a graphics software engineer at NVIDIA with a focus on high-performance geometry processing. Prior to that, he was... Oh, my eyes. What's happening? There we go. I'm getting old. Okay. Prior to that, he has been contributing as a technical director at many film, animation, and television projects at Pixar, Disney Feature Animation, and the BBC. Dylan is a software engineer on the NVIDIA Optics team. Previously, he wrote shading and rendering code for a number of animated films at Disney and DreamWorks. Dylan studied computer graphics at the University of Utah after realizing that he couldn't draw well enough to be a comic book artist. Aww. All right. OK, team, have fun.
OK, you guys want to see it move? All right, Manuel. What you're seeing is real-time path tracing of dynamic streaming geometry. This is all running live on a single RTX 5090 Blackwell GPU. The Dragon model and the Monk are Kaplan-Clark subdivision surfaces that we dice into microtriangles every frame. And the terrain uses a continuous streaming LOD system similar to Epic's Nanite. We generate on the order of 16 million triangles dynamically every frame. You can see the count there. And we're using DLSS ray reconstruction to denoise the path tracer output and upscale, but we're not using FrameGen. So this project actually started as a driver benchmarking app on the optics team, and then Manuel got involved, and the next week we had audio. This is all written in C++. The compute is all CUDA kernels, and we use optics for path tracing. Everything is C++, including the shading language. We have printfs in our shaders for the graphics geeks out there. OK, so that's the demo. Looks good, but since this is SIGGRAPH, now we're going to show you how the sausage gets made. This might get a little gnarly, but it'll be OK. So we have all these rays of light in all these triangles. If we tested every ray against every triangle, that would be hundreds of trillions of intersections. Obviously, we don't do that. Instead, we use a standard data structure called the bounding volume hierarchy. The BVH is fundamentally a spatial tree, right? The branches are axis-aligned bounding boxes. The leaves are buckets. We asked the RTX hardware guys if we can show you the real BVH, and they said, hell no. So what you're seeing right now, we made this up, but it's good enough. So what do we do with this? Let's get in here and shoot a ray. So we intersect a ray, we traverse the branches, we step down through the boxes, and we go from tens of millions of triangles before. Now we only have a couple dozen tests per ray. That's awesome. On RTX hardware, that's super fast. We can actually add huge amounts of geometry, and the traversal stays pretty fast. Traversal is logarithmic, right? The bad news is building that BVH takes a lot longer as you add more triangles. And our scene is really dynamic. Like, this scene looks static, but it's not. As the camera flies around, the terrain LEDs are constantly being updated. So how do we speed up the BVH build? That's the core problem here. So building the BVH involves finding triangles that are close together in space and grouping them. But this is information we sort of have already. We generate these triangles ourselves, right? So why do we want to start from scratch every frame? The key is to work with clusters. So what we're going to do is identify every 100 triangles or so and turn them into little clusters like we're showing here, right? We call these unstructured clusters on the terrain. This type of geometry is really common in games. It started as a high-res poly model, and then in this case, we pre-computed this hierarchy of clusters. Every frame, we rebuild the BVH over these clusters, and that's orders of magnitude faster than if we went and rebuilt it over all 19 million triangles. The colors here aren't super important. They're just different levels of detail, all right? So let's fly over and look at the Monk now. The Monk is different. This is an animated sub-D model, and you can see how these clusters are different. We call these template clusters, and every one is a rectangular grid of triangles. So for sub-D tessellation, we tile the subdivision surface from this palette of template clusters, and that saves a ton of work. And for animation, because it's a subdivision surface, we just have to animate the control cage. You can see the control cage count here. It's only 400,000 sub-D faces, right? But from that, we're generating, let's say 15 million microtriangles just for the Dragon and Monk, not counting the terrain. A quick shout here to Pixar. If there's anyone from Pixar here, we're using OpenSubDiv. OK, so we've talked about microtriangles a lot. Let's actually switch over to the microtriangle shading mode. It's great. Yeah. We have a slider, so we can make the triangles bigger, please. All right. So what we're doing is similar in spirit to the classic RenderMan algorithm from like 1980, I don't know, 80-something. we try and hit 1 triangle per pixel, right? To keep render time under control, we also try and predict which clusters are not directly visible to the camera. We can't just drop those like a game engine would, but we can simplify those way down so we don't break shadows. But you can see how the stuff behind the terrain here is simpler. I know what you're thinking. Why on earth do we need so many triangles? Well, one big advantage is we can do this. We can apply high-res displacement maps to every microvertex in real time. There are no normal maps on this dragon. So this is a ZBrush sculpture by an artist named Zhou Longshu. The high-res sculpt had like 750 million triangles, I'm told. We extracted displacement maps. And the monk is a Maya model, I think, textured in Adobe Substance Painter. Also has some amazing detail on it. All right. We talked about tessellation rates and predicting visible clusters. Let's go even deeper because we don't have enough technical detail. Most modern game engines do this. They rasterize a depth prepass to detect triangles within the camera frustum that are occluded by some geometry. We realize we can do something like that, but we don't rasterize. We ray trace. We save the BVH from the previous frame, and then we ray trace this depth map. That works great for terrain. But it doesn't work so great for dynamic geometry. There's like a chicken and egg problem. We have to know what's hidden before we tessellate. And so we use these line-swept spheres, which make fantastic capsules and are hardware accelerated. So they help a little bit. All right, in the interest of time, I want to mention DLSS-RR for like 2 seconds. The transformer model this year pretty much made this demo possible. We would not have been able to do it without DLSS-RR. It made me a believer. We hope we've convinced you that it's possible to do this today on hardware that you can buy at Best Buy. Thanks for watching. Go to GitHub and search for Mega Geometry, and see you tomorrow at the Q&A.
That was amazing. All right. Before we move on to the next demo, I have a little request for everyone here. I would like, if possible, that you guys switch off Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or maybe put the phone in airplane mode, because we did notice some interference with this demo that can make the demo a bit less of a good demo. So if you have time for that and you can afford it, do that for us, please. Thank you very much. And now, we have Puppix, real-time live performed digital characters using physical puppet twins. Presenting, we have Ben Mars and E.C. Bristow from the Black Laboratory. We have Dick Downey from Opposable Thumb Theater, and Steph Elgersma. Ben Mars is a character animator and animation supervisor for feature television games and immersive experiences, as well as a live-action puppeteer. The Puppix project came from a desire to combine the creative team process and physical reality of live puppetry with the possibilities of computer animation. Dick is an internationally acclaimed theater maker, director, puppeteer, puppet and mask maker, teacher, and workshop facilitator. He tours internationally, from adult-oriented clown shows to family puppet theaters. Committed to nurturing the next generation of puppeteers and new forms of puppetry, he has a key role in the development of Puppix. Izzy is the puppet maker and educator with experience across the puppet spectrum, working in both the technical fields of soft robotics and artistic fields of character design. From Muppets to life-size dinosaurs, from international tours to heirloom restorations, there is little that puppetry has to offer that Izzy hasn't seen. Steph is a puppet performer, maker, and director working in Canada and the UK. She specializes in making animal puppets. She most recently moved back to Vancouver to teach puppetry at Studio 58 and facilitate a support system for puppetry performance in theaters. Whew. All right, let's have fun.
Yeah. So just to let you know that the center of mass array is sampling at a slower rate than the FK array, so you may notice some artifacts in the results. Good evening. I'm Ben Mars, and I'm here to say, what is Puppets?
Yes, Ben, what is Puppets?
Puppets is a real-time, live puppet capture and control system which helps directors and actors.
Disappeared?
Disappearance.
I've disappeared?
Disappeared?
I'm not on the screen.
We will get you back.
I've become invisible.
Do
I exist? Oh, God. Existential crisis. Oh,
Considerable
no.
existential crisis.
Oh, just keep clapping and everything will be all right. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I got a suspicion this is turning into a one-man show. Yes, try the veal.
Are you here all week?
I am not here all week. Hopefully I'm going to go home on Friday. This is lovely though, isn't it? Look at all these faces. I've never seen so many lanyards in my whole life. Just imagine how much it cost. Anyway, shall we carry on?
We can carry on.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
So, this is about real-time puppet capture. Do you know where we are, by the way?
No, I was just going to ask that. Ben.
Oh, yes?
Ben.
Yes?
Ben,
yes?
where the hell are we?
Vancouver.
Yes, but why?
SIGGRAPH. SIGGRAPH.
Good. Hello, Seagrass! Thank you for having us. Thank you. Right, carry on.
Right. Puppet motion capture. You've heard of this somewhere before. Back in the 80s, there were dinosaurs, there were aliens. There were motion control armatures which you moved, watched the screen, and made beautiful animation with. And the difference here is we're in the room. You're in the room, and later on you're going to be directors in the room. As an actor, as a performer, I can interact with what is going to be a digital character in the real space.
And I can interact with you, Ben. Come closer.
Yes.
I'm going to do some acting. Oh, Madame Bovary, your skin is like alabaster and you need a shave. Yeah.
So we've had acting. How about motion?
Oh, yeah. Oh, walkies. Right, off we go. Press the button. Press it again.
Press again.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Off we go.
Now you have control. Do you want it faster? Faster.
Well, hang on. I'm just going to do this simple explanation. I'm on a travelator or an exercise machine, and I'm doing a simple walk, not a walk cycle, not a loop. I'm actually physically walking in real time. Look at that. It's a miracle, isn't it?
So what we've got is multiple different types of sensor here, because every different type of sensor has an issue of some form. What we're doing is getting to work in concert and balance out the various issues. If you want to go into detail about that, you can come to the talk we're doing tomorrow at 9, and we can talk about sensors all morning. But we're going to talk about performance. Faster. Faster.
You sadists. Right, let's go to a trot.
Faster. Yell if you want to go faster.
A gallop, and let's go to the gallop, and we're off. It went up to 6 points, 2, 3 points. Ben, that's way too fast. That's way too fast. I think you have to press stop.
Your agent's going to have words.
I don't think I'm going to have any words after this. Continue.
So, a biped. We also have quadrupeds. We have a lovely creature that we call Good Dog, because we're not allowed to keep wolves. And we could have other things.
We could have more than 4 legs. We could do 8 legs. We could do spiders or octopuses. We could do, if we were adventurous, we could do centipedes or even a millipede.
A millipede?
Yes, imagine that.
What are the limitations?
The number of puppeteers you got available, I guess.
Right. No millipedes tonight. So, performance, because we've done motion. So, performance. And you're going to be asked to be directing this. I'll start you off. Shakespeare.
Oh, hang on. Oh, to be or not to be. What's the question? South Park. Oh, it's too political for me. I'm sorry. The times are a bit. Yeah. Monty Python. Oh, let's do a funny walk, shall we? Oh, look at me, I'm English and I'm doing a funny walk. Oh, the parrot is dead.
Truman Show.
Truman Show.
I believe it's some sort of horror.
Horror?
I think it was horror.
I can do horror. I suck your blood. What's that? Eating a biscuit with a Yorkshire accent. Oh, right, it's very obscure, isn't it? Oh, bloody hell, that Garibaldi's delicious.
Anti-gravity?
Anti-gravity, I knew her uncle.
If you would like to come and try this, in the UK, puppets.com. And let's finish off with a horrific death scene.
It's getting dark. It's still getting dark. I haven't quite gone yet. I think I'm getting better. Monty Python.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm signing autographs in my dressing room later.
We will be around if you wish to speak to us. Thank
you. Thank you.
Good job, Green Pea. All right. That was the last demo for tonight. Did you have fun? Yeah. All right, time to vote. Everyone who did switch off the phone or put it in airplane mode, put it back. Yeah, don't forget that. Go here, and we will give you 5 minutes to vote for the best for the best demo that you think is the best demo here. So I will see you in 5 minutes. All right. Thank you, everyone, for voting. We have a very clear winner. And the Audience Choice Award goes to Crazy Fast Physics.
Thank you. No, we haven't prepared anything to say, I think. So, but this, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Now, the jury has also decided. Oh, but I don't know which one it is. I think we need a few minutes. 1 second. Right? Actually, while we do the counting, I was told that you can go there to the front of the room and see and enjoy the beautiful Chinese tapestry that we were showing in demo number 3, if you want. Just don't touch it, but you can go get closer to it to see all the beautiful detail in it. And while we wait, also, I will invite you to come tomorrow, Wednesday morning, 9 a.m., to room 109 and 110, because some of the presenters that you saw today will be there giving more details about their demos with slides and more technical information. And then you will get a chance to talk to them for about 1 hour. So they will be outside of that room with some desks to show you how the things run in their desktops, in their laptops, and then you can talk to them. So that's tomorrow. There we go, 9 a.m. in room 109. And hopefully, we did count the votes. OK, here it comes. Do we have a drum roll?
4D volumetric. 4D volume.
OK. Let me bring the full title. And suspense, suspense, suspense. All right. So the winner is Infinity Studio for the volumetric capture for filmmaking and beyond. OK, team, come in.
This is something that is entirely unexpected. So as you may can tell, I'm a little bit under the weather. So the demo is not going very well. But we are so grateful. And we really believe that this is something that, this is something that we have been working on for a long time. And we hope that we can create a lot of great things from this kind of tool. So I would like to also thank the committee, the jury, and also Inigo for organizing this event and all the help. And thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. See you next year in real-time live.